How to stay positive in difficult times, my brothers and sisters. Every single one of us goes through hardship. There is no soul on earth that is free from challenges. Some are tested with health, some with wealth, some with their families, some with their emotions, and some with their emotions, and some with their faith itself. But remember, the Almighty has not abandoned you. The fact that you are going through a hardship does not mean that you are forsaken. In fact, it is a sign that the Almighty loves you, because He only tests those whom He loves. We are taught in our faith that with every difficulty there is ease. Not after difficulty, but with difficulty there is ease. This means that even in the middle of your hardship, there is already a window of ease opening. You may not see it immediately, but trust that it is there. The problem with many of us is that we look for the light in the wrong direction. The Almighty says, indeed, with hardship comes ease. He did not say after hardship, but with it. The ease is already surrounding you. You just need to be patient and trust Him. My brothers and sisters, do not lose hope. No matter how big your problem is, the mercy of the Almighty is bigger. No matter how dark the night is, the sun will surely rise. Even when you feel like you have been abandoned by everyone, remember that the Almighty is closer to you than your own jugular vein. He knows your struggles, your silent tears, the words you could not say, and the pain you hide behind your smile. He knows and He cares. What is required of us is patience and gratitude. When things are tough, remain patient. When things are good, show gratitude. And remember, patience is not just sitting quietly and waiting for things to change. Patience is to continue doing what is right, even when things seem impossible. Patience is to trust the Almighty's plan, even when you don't understand it. My beloved brothers and sisters, do not allow negative thoughts to consume you. The Almighty knows the beginning, the middle, and the end of your story. Your duty is to keep trying, keep praying, and keep trusting. The Almighty will never burden a soul more than it can bear. If you are going through it, you are strong enough to handle it. Even if you feel weak, remember, it is the Almighty who will give you the strength. So smile even through the tears. Smile because the Almighty's mercy is near. Smile because the story is not over yet. And when you pray, speak to Him as you would to a close friend. Tell Him everything. He listens and He responds in ways you could never imagine. May the Almighty grant us all the strength to remain positive during our tests, and may He ease our hardships and replace them with something far better than what we have lost. My beloved brothers and sisters, one of the most powerful verses in the Quran is when the Almighty says, indeed, with hardship comes ease. This is not just a statement, it is a promise. It is a guarantee from the one who created you and me. Notice how the verse says, with hardship, not after hardship. Many of us mistakenly think that ease will only come once the hardship is completely gone. But the Almighty teaches us that the ease is already present within the hardship itself. The problem is that when we are overwhelmed with pain, we often fail to notice the small pockets of relief and mercy that are already surrounding us. When you are going through difficulty, it feels like the entire world is closing in on you. Sometimes you feel trapped, helpless, and alone. But if you were to pause for a moment and reflect, you would notice that the Almighty has placed signs of His mercy even in the midst of your struggle. Perhaps you are struggling financially, but you still have people who love you and make dua for you. Perhaps you are struggling with your health, but you still have the ability to utter the words of remembrance, to call upon the Almighty, and to find comfort in your faith. Perhaps you are facing emotional pain, but He has still kept you alive, giving you another chance to heal, to grow, and to come closer to Him. These are all forms of ease, but we sometimes ignore them because we are only looking for the big solution, the major breakthrough, and we fail to recognize the small blessings that make the hardship bearable. Look at the life of the prophets. Peace be upon them all. Every one of them went through hardship, yet they remained positive because they understood this principle. When Prophet Musa was cornered between the sea and the army of Pharaoh, it seemed impossible. Yet, even before the sea was parted, the ease had already begun. The faith in his heart, the calmness he displayed, and the presence of the Almighty's help were all signs of ease within the hardship. Similarly, when the Prophet Muhammad, peace and blessings be upon him, was faced with rejection, persecution, and pain, he remained steadfast. Why? Because he knew that with hardship comes ease. Even during the hardest moments, there was always a reason to hold on. Whether it was the companionship of the believers, the guidance from the Almighty, or the comfort of prayer, ease was always present. When you understand this, you begin to view life differently. You stop waiting for the hardship to end before you feel peace. Instead, you begin to look for the ease that is already there. The Almighty does not leave His servant without support. Sometimes He places a person in your life. Sometimes He grants you patience that you didn't even know you had. Sometimes He opens doors of understanding. Sometimes He gives you moments of quiet where you find unexpected strength. These are the eases that come with hardship. Many people think that being positive during a test means you are ignoring your pain. That is not the case. You are allowed to feel sad. You are allowed to cry. You are allowed to grieve. Even the prophets cried. Even the best of creation felt sadness. But what kept them going was the deep-rooted belief that the Almighty is too merciful to leave them without relief. That belief itself is a form of ease. Knowing that you are not suffering in vain, knowing that there is a purpose behind your hardship, knowing that the Almighty is fully aware of every tear you shed, this is part of the ease that you carry within you. When you recognize this, you stop asking, when will this be over? Then you start asking, where is the ease that the Almighty has promised me? And you will find it. It may be hidden in the smile of a loved one. It may be in the dua of your mother. It may be in the strength to continue making sujood even when your heart is breaking. It may be in the patience He places in your chest when you thought you couldn't take it anymore. The ease is not always something physical. Sometimes the greatest ease is the peace that the Almighty grants you within your heart. The kind of peace that makes no sense to anyone else, but you know it is directly from Him. The sooner you realize this, the more strength you will find in your hardship. The hardship may still be there, but you will not be alone. You will feel the Almighty carrying you through it with His mercy, with His wisdom, and with His promise that with hardship there is ease. Patience and gratitude are two of the most powerful qualities a believer can have, especially during times of hardship. These two qualities are like two wings that lift you above your difficulties. Without them, you will feel heavy, stuck, and lost. But when you learn to adopt patience and gratitude, you will begin to notice a shift, not necessarily in your situation immediately, but in the way you handle it, the way you think, and the way you feel. The Almighty has mentioned patience repeatedly in the Quran, and He has praised those who are patient. In fact, He promises that the reward of the patient will be without measure. The angels themselves descend upon the patient ones, giving them glad tidings of paradise, of peace, and of the pleasure of the Almighty. When we say patience, many people think it means to simply sit silently and do nothing, just waiting for things to change. But this is not true patience. Patience is active. It is to continue doing what is right, even when you feel like giving up. It is to continue praying when your heart is heavy. It is to continue speaking good even when you are hurt. It is to hold yourself back from reacting negatively, even when you have every reason to lash out. True patience is a sign of strength, not weakness. It is easy to complain, to give up, to get angry, but it takes a special kind of believer to remain calm and composed, trusting that the Almighty knows best. At the same time, gratitude is equally important. The Almighty says, if you are grateful, I will surely increase you. Gratitude is not only when everything is going well. In fact, the real test of gratitude is when things are tough. When you can still say Alhamdulillah, even when you are in pain, that is a powerful form of worship. Gratitude is not just about words. It is about acknowledging that even in your darkest hour, there are blessings you cannot count. You may have lost something dear to you, but if you reflect, you will find that there is still so much you have been given. You still have your faith, your ability to turn to the Almighty, your ability to make dua, your ability to seek forgiveness. You still have countless blessings that you may have taken for granted. Patience without gratitude can feel heavy. Gratitude without patience can be short-lived. But when you combine both, you will find that your hardship becomes lighter. The Prophet, peace and blessings be upon him, told us that the affair of a believer is amazing because if something good happens, he is grateful and it is good for him. And if something difficult happens, he is patient and it is good for him. Either way, you win. Either way, you grow. Either way, you earn the pleasure of the Almighty. Sometimes people ask, how can I be patient when the pain is too much? Or how can I be grateful when everything is falling apart? The answer is simple but profound. You don't have to pretend that you are not hurting. You don't have to act like nothing is wrong. But you remind yourself that the Almighty is aware of your condition. You remind yourself that nothing happens without His knowledge and wisdom. You remind yourself that this is temporary. No difficulty lasts forever. And the one who remains patient and grateful during the test will come out of it not only stronger but more beloved to the Almighty. Even in your tears, you can be patient. Even in your sadness, you can be grateful. You can acknowledge the pain while still acknowledging the blessings. The believer is not someone who ignores reality. The believer sees the reality, but sees it through the lens of faith. The hardship may be great, but the mercy of the Almighty is great. The pain may feel overwhelming, but the promise of the Almighty is comforting. Patience is knowing that the Almighty will not let this difficulty go to waste. Gratitude is knowing that there is still so much to thank Him for, even if you're struggling. When you understand this balance between patience and gratitude, you will find peace in the middle of chaos. You will realize that every hardship you are facing is an opportunity to rise in rank, to purify your heart, to grow closer to the Almighty, and to develop qualities you may have never known you had. The most patient people are often those who have tasted the bitterness of life, but have chosen to focus on the sweetness of faith. And the most grateful people are those who have been tested, but have never stopped seeing the signs of the Almighty's mercy all around them. Trusting the Almighty's plan, even when you don't understand it, is one of the greatest tests of faith. Every single one of us will go through moments in life where nothing makes sense. You will find yourself wondering why certain things are happening, why your efforts are not giving the results you hoped for, and why, despite your prayers, you still feel stuck. But it is in these very moments that your trust in the Almighty is being tested. The believer is not only tested through hardships, but also through uncertainty, through situations where you don't see the wisdom behind what is happening. Yet, this is where true faith shines. To trust in what you cannot see, to submit to the plan of the Almighty even when you don't understand it, is the essence of surrender. When you reflect on the stories of the prophets, you realize that every one of them went through situations that were difficult to comprehend at the time. Think of Prophet Ibrahim when he was commanded to leave his wife and child in the barren desert. From a human perspective, it seemed unreasonable, it seemed unfair, but he trusted the Almighty's plan. And from that apparent hardship, the blessed city of Makkah was established. Zamzam began to flow. And the greatest pilgrimage on earth, Hajj, became part of the legacy. If Prophet Ibrahim had insisted on only doing what he understood fully, he would have missed the bigger purpose. But because he submitted without question, he witnessed the plan of the Almighty unfold in a way that generations after him continue to benefit from. Think of the story of Prophet Musa when he was guided by the Almighty to strike the sea with his staff. Imagine standing in front of an ocean with no logical solution and yet being told to strike it. But because he trusted the Almighty beyond what made sense to his human mind, the sea split and became a means of rescue. The lesson is clear. You don't always need to understand the plan. You need to trust the one who made the plan. The one who created the heavens and the earth does not make mistakes. He is never unaware, never caught off guard. He is fully in control, even when everything around you feels out of control. Many times, you will not understand why you are going through a certain trial until much later, or sometimes not at all in this world. You may not see the wisdom immediately, but the Almighty knows. And His knowledge is complete while yours is limited. Imagine a child who needs to take bitter medicine. The child does not understand why the parent insists on it, but the parent knows it is necessary for the child's healing. In the same way, the Almighty gives you what you need, not always what you want. Sometimes He withholds something from you to protect you. Sometimes He delays something for you so that you are better prepared for it when the right time comes. Sometimes He gives you something you did not even ask for because He knows it will benefit you more than what you are asking for. The problem is that many of us only trust when things go according to our plan. We say we trust the Almighty, but deep down, we only trust Him when His plan matches our needs. But real trust is when you let go of your own expectations and say, "Oh, my Lord, I don't know what is best for me. But you know, so I trust you." This is not weakness. This is true strength. It takes strength to accept that you do not control everything. It takes strength to continue making dua even when you haven't seen the results yet. It takes strength to put your head down in sujood and say, I leave it all to you, and then get up and carry on with your life without becoming bitter or hopeless. The Almighty sees what you cannot see. He knows the future. He knows the future. He knows the hearts of people. He knows the consequences of every decision. Sometimes you think something is good for you, but in reality, it may harm you. And sometimes you think something is bad for you, but it turns out to be the greatest blessing you could ever imagine. The believer must trust the process, trust the journey, and most importantly, trust the one who is in charge of it all. The more you trust, the more peace you will find in your heart, even if the situation itself does not change immediately. Trusting in the Almighty is not about closing your eyes and hoping for the best. It is about opening your heart and fully relying on Him, knowing that He is the most merciful, the most wise, and the most loving. The Almighty's mercy is always greater than your problems. No matter how dark the situation feels, no matter how heavy the burden seems, His mercy is beyond anything you can imagine. Sometimes when you are in the middle of a hardship, you begin to think that perhaps you are being punished, perhaps you are forgotten, or perhaps you are not worthy of relief. But the reality is the mercy of the Almighty surrounds you even when you do not see it. His mercy is greater than the mistakes you have made, greater than the sins you have committed, greater than the pain you are feeling, and greater than the hopelessness that tries to creep into your heart. The Almighty describes Himself as Ar-Rahman and Ar-Rahim, the most merciful, the especially merciful. He did not say He is only merciful to those who are perfect, or only merciful when you have it all figured out. His mercy is for the sinner who turns back to Him, for the weak who seeks His strength, for the broken-hearted who calls upon Him in tears. Even the one who has forgotten Him for years, if they call upon Him sincerely, His mercy will reach them instantly. The Prophet, peace and blessings be upon him, told us that the Almighty's mercy is divided into 100 parts, and only one part of it has been sent down to this world. That one part is the reason why mothers love their children, why people show compassion to one another, and why kindness exists at all. The remaining 99 parts of His mercy are saved for the day of judgment. If just one part of His mercy can fill this world with so much love, imagine how vast His mercy truly is. The issue is that during hardship, people focus only on the problem. They forget the mercy that surrounds them even while they are being tested. Many times, the difficulty itself is a doorway to mercy. The hardship might be protecting you from something worse. The delay you are facing may be preparing you for something great. The loss you experienced might bring you closer to the Almighty in a way that would have never happened if things had remained easy. The mercy is not always about removing the hardship instantly. Sometimes the mercy is in the strength you find during the hardship, the patience you develop, the people you meet, the lessons you learn, and the closeness to the Almighty that you achieve. These are all forms of mercy that cannot be measured by worldly standards. Think about how many times in your life you have gone through something you thought you would never overcome. Yet here you are today, stronger, wiser, and closer to the Almighty than before. At the time, you may not have realized it, but now when you look back, you see how it shaped you into who you are. This is a sign of His mercy. The very trial that broke you also built you. The same test that caused you to cry in the middle of the night became the reason you learned how to make sincere dua. The same difficulty that made you feel alone became the reason you discovered the sweetness of relying upon the Almighty completely. The Almighty does not burden a soul more than it can bear. This itself is a sign of His mercy. Sometimes you think you are too weak to handle a situation, but the fact that you are in it means that the Almighty knows you have the capacity, even if you don't see it. His mercy in the unseen strength He gives you. His mercy is in the unseen protection He grants you every single day. How many accidents did not happen because of His mercy? How many diseases were kept away from you? How many blessings are you living in without even realizing? Yet when one difficulty strikes, we forget the countless hidden mercies that surround us every day. Even when you make mistakes, His mercy is there. He invites you again and again to return to Him, to seek forgiveness, to start fresh. The doors of mercy never close until you yourself turn away. No matter how far you feel you have gone, His mercy is closer than you think. He forgives without limit. He understands your weakness. He knows your pain. And He promises that those who are patient and turn to Him will have not only relief, but also rewards far beyond what they could imagine. His mercy is not only in the worldly relief you seek, but more importantly, in the eternal success He is preparing for you if you remain firm, patient, and connected to Him during your hardships.